Good morning. It's Saturday morning, the 11th, and welcome back to More Than Just Cooking. So today I'm going to show you two different recipes for two different icings. I had someone request my buttercream icing, and so I'm going to do that one last. But the first one I'm going to do is my homemade caramel icing, and it's one of my favorites. It's very easy. You just about can never fail. It's a no-fail icing. So we're going to start out, and let me just give you a little some tidbits here, information. I've already baked my cake, and what I do, I bake when I'm making a cake. I will put them in two 8x8 pans. That way, if I want to ice one way and ice another one a different way, and that's what I'm going to do this morning, then you've got enough to do that. You don't have to make two separate cakes. So, and let me show you something else. When you take your cake out of the oven, you're letting it cool before you want to ice it. And a friend of mine gave me these flour sacks, and they're 100% cotton. And I just cover my cake like that right there. I don't know if you can see. I just cover it like that to keep it cooling. I mean, it's for it to cool, but yet also it keep it from drying out. So I've had it under that all morning, and so we're gonna start. Good morning. Let's see who we got on here. Hey, Rosemary, how are you doing? And hey, Jade, and Gwen, and Sue, how are you? And Mark, we're good to have you. We're gonna make caramel icing. This is a yalla cake, a butter cake mix. And hey, Sammy, good to see you this morning. We're making caramel icing to put on this yalla cake. Now, I've always made caramel icing to put on a spice cake. Hey, Karen, good to see you this morning. I always used to put caramel icing on spice cake, but I found that if you put that on yalla cake, it is so good. So what I've done, let me show you here. Let's look at what's going on in the pan. We've got a stick of butter that we're melting. I've already got it going for you. So you can see that, I hope, pretty good. So you want to melt that stick of butter, and I always, like I said, use butter. You can use margarine if you want to, but I just use butter. Then we're going to add a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and it's firmly packed in there. Okay, and you're cooking this over medium heat. You don't want it to burn. So you just mix that in there real well. And it's going to look like that you can see it still looks like the butter and the brown sugar are separated, and that's okay, because you're going to fix that in just a second. You just want to, there's not any specific time. It just stir it for probably maybe a couple of minutes, and we've done it for about a minute already. I hope you're having a good morning. It's beautiful here at Brookport, Illinois. Okay, this is our cake that we're going to have tomorrow for Easter Sunday. Okay, now you're going to add 1/4 a cup of milk. And then you're going to stir constantly. See what that looks like there? And you're going to just keep stirring it till it comes to a boil. And it won't take but just a second. And that's the main thing. The only thing I've got to add next is my confectionate sugar. See, there it is coming to a boil. You see that? And when it comes to a boil, I may have it down a little. When it comes to a boil, it's ready. So let's go over that again. It's 1 stick of butter, a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1/4 a cup of milk. And guys, that is it. Okay, I'll turn that off. I'm going to set that right here. Okay, now we're going to add oh, that's a little more than 1 cup. So this one will just make it a little less. We're going to add 2 cups of powdered sugar. Put it back over here so you can see. Okay. Sometimes it's a little still lumpy, and to eliminate that, you just keep stirring. I'm going to add a little bit more because that wasn't quite you can't get too much sugar for me, I'll tell you that. And the one thing about this icing, it's warm, your cake is warm. You can even pour that over a warm cake, it won't matter. But what's going to happen here, it should harden as soon as I pour it over here. I'm going to if you raise the end of your pan up, because this little icing is going to flow to the edge and you don't want it flowing out on your counter. So you see how I've raised up the edges of the pan. Okay. Let me taste that and see if it's got enough in there. And that'll work. Okay. I'm sorry if I'm bouncing that around. Okay, then all you do is you pour it. We'll come back and look at this after we make our other icing. Now, actually, this recipe should ice an 8.5 by 11. We only got an 8 by 8, so this is getting more icing on this particular one. So it's gonna have more. But if you like a lot of icing, that's the way to go, guys. So, what do you think? Looks yummy, doesn't it? I'm telling you, it is wonderful. Okay, now we're going to move over. I'm going to move you over to the table where I've got this other, so hold tight. Okay. All right. So now, let's see here. I'm going to talk to you a second. Now we're going to do the buttercream frosting for the other 8 by 8. Okay, we're going to start out. Let's see. Hey, Debbie, how are you doing? Hey, Amanda. Hey, Miss Judy and Dana. We're doing the buttercream icing. This is so simple. It is as simple as that caramel icing. So you've got 2 sticks of softened butter, and you're going to put those in your mixer. Okay. And you're going to mix. But a second. Now, if you forget to take your butter out and you need some softened butter, you can put it in the microwave for 10 seconds, and then because you don't want your butter to to be melted when you're making this. Okay. Now, I don't measure, but so we're going to do this. We're going to do this. I'm going to try to just do a cup at a time, so we'll see how much we put in here. Normally, I just pour, but I'm going to try to be helpful to you guys. So we're going to do 2 cups at a time. Okay, so we're going to put 2 cups of sugar in that. And you're going to put, I'd say, a teaspoon of vanilla. And you're going to just put a little bit of water. And what I do, this sounds crazy, but I put water in my hand, in the palm of my hand, and as I need it, I'll just toss water in there. Okay, now probably I'm going to have flour everywhere, so let me wet that down a little bit. So we'll just see. Maybe not. Okay. You'll be able to see that that is mixing up good. Now you're going to have to stop it every once in a while and scrape around the edges of it. Now the reason I add water, somebody asked me that, and I learned from a lady a long time ago that had a bakery. She said when you're making this kind of icing, that you should add water. Now you can add milk to it, but if you add water, you don't have to keep the cake in the refrigerator. But if you add milk to it, you will have to put it in the refrigerator. Okay, now we need some more. You can see that just looks like butter. Okay, so we've added 2. Now we're going to add another one. So let's see what that looks like after it's mixed up. So that's 3 cups so far. Now, getting it everywhere, but that's okay. As I used to tell my grandbabies, my kids, just have fun with it. Okay, we need more, so usually it's about a half of this 2.5. This is 2.5 pounds. No, 2 pounds. So usually it's about a pound of butter, a pound of flour, well, I can't even talk today. A pound of powdered sugar. So it's because it's usually about half a bag. Okay, we'll try this again. Once you eat this icing, you will not ever want to buy canned icing again. Hey Sharon, how are you doing? Hey Brenda, good to see you this morning. We are making buttercream icing. We're getting closer, but we're not quite there yet. See how it's whipping up pretty. Okay, now, guys, you can always taste it. That's still a little buttery. So we're going to add another cup, so that's 4 cups. I'm going to put just a little bit more vanilla. And it's going crazy. I may need to add more water, but we'll just see. What makes this fluffy is the longer you beat it. Isn't it wonderful to have a mixer that will mix it up? I used to have to do this by hand, using a hand mixer, and then a lot of times I would mix it by hand. Okay, I think we're getting close. Okay, needs a little bit more water. And again, you guys have got to creative. You've got to not be afraid in the kitchen. You've got to, everything doesn't have to be exact. I learned that when I started baking. I thought, it's more fun if you can try and add, and so you don't stress out over not having the exact, oh no, I put too much. Well, then you just add a little bit more of something else. Okay. Just a little bit more water. You don't want to add too much water at the beginning, because then it's better to add a little bit at a time along the way. Okay, let's see. Well, now it's at the perfect stage to, if I was going to put it in a decorator bag, if I was going to use to decorate cupcakes or something like that, but it's not for this cake. It's still a little thick. So we're going to add a little bit more flavoring. I'm sorry that I don't have, like I said, it's hard for me to figure. But that's what I want you to do. I want you to not be afraid in the kitchen. Just have fun with it. You know what tastes good to you, and as you add stuff, taste it. And you can always call me. I had a friend call me last night, and she said, I made soup. She didn't see my recipe, see my soup segment yesterday. And so she was making soup. And so she called me and said, my soup tastes flat. And I said, well, tell me what you got in it. And so she did. And so then I told her, well, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to add. And so she did. And she's like, oh my goodness, it does taste a lot better. So I can usually tell if you call me or text me and tell me, okay, something's not tasting right, or you can Facebook Messenger me or whatever. So I did something wrong, and I can help you most generally, because if there's anything that's ever, everything that I've ever made has failed at one time, and I've learned from mistakes, and I just keep doing it until I perfect it. So this icing is pretty much, I think it's ready now. Yes, it is exact the consistency that I want. Oh, look at that. Okay, let me back this up here. Different consistencies for different things. Like I said, if I was going to make cupcakes, then I would have, if I was going to ice cupcakes, I would have left it at the thicker consistency, because when you're squeezing it out of that bag, you don't want it to be too soft. And this is perfect for icing a cake. So all you do, actually, I think I'm going to put a little bit more water in there, because if it is not exact, if it's too thick, then when you put it on this cooled cake, then it's going to tear the cake up. So we're going to thin it out just a little bit more. So I'll put a little bit more water in there. Hey Betty, we're making this icing. Okay, I have put 2 sticks of butter. So far we've got 4 cups of powdered sugar. We have vanilla, and I use the clear vanilla. And probably, what do you think, guys? Maybe I put a tablespoon and a half, maybe 2 tablespoons, maybe I put in there. And then I probably put 1/4 cup of water. So, okay. Let's see now. I think that will work. Okay. then we pop it out on the cake. Can you see that? All right. This is easy, nutritious, and so much better than canned icing. Okay. My handy little spoon that I use for everything. Just smooth it around. How simple was that, guys? And now we've got a beautiful cake, yellow cake. I've made this. This was the yellow cake that I made. Half of it I made to ice for this icing. The other half I made with the caramel icing. So if you just coming on, if you want to go back and watch the beginning, then I made caramel icing. Homemade caramel icing. And then I always top it with some kind of topping, little sprinkles. There you go, guys. Now, if I was going to try to make it really, really special, if I was going to take it somewhere, I would put it in I've got a glass globe. And Betty, you will remember this because every time I brought a cake there at Bear and Fork, I always had it in my glass plate with the globe over it, and I would puff up that icing really high, and that was always enticing to everybody that liked a lot of icing. So that's it on your buttercream icing. Again, we had 2 sticks of butter that was room temperature. I set it out the night before. We had 4 cups of sugar, powdered sugar, probably a 1/4 a cup of water added as needed, and probably 2 tablespoons of clear vanilla. That is it. That is how simple it is to make this. And then on the caramel icing, we had, let's look, I'm going to get that so you can see what that looks like now that it's gotten harder. Look at that, guys. It's perfect. It's not even moving around. So, that was 1 stick of butter. That was a 1/2 a cup of brown sugar. That was a 1/4 a cup of milk. And 2 level cups of powdered sugar. And that's pretty easy. So now we've got 2 different cakes for tomorrow. We have a choice. Whichever one we want. Probably a little bit of both. Okay. A friend of mine told me this morning, she was talking to me, and she said, Teresa, did you know yesterday when you were cooking that you had a hole in your shirt? And I said, no, it wasn't a hole. I said, I love that shirt. It was hot yesterday, and I knew I was going to be cooking over that stove, so I wanted something cool. And so I wore that green thin shirt, but it was bleach spots. So, because I had washed and put some bleach in a load prior to that load. So, sorry if sometimes you never know what I'm going to have on or look like, but it isn't about that, is it, guys? It's about the cooking and hopefully something from the Lord. So today, as we are preparing, hey, Peter Jeffries, we just made a caramel icing, so you have to go back and watch if you didn't get to, and we made buttercream icing for a yellow cake. But we're preparing tomorrow for our Easter, and it's probably the first Easter that I've ever not been able to be in church, even as a little girl. It was a special day. But you know what? We can make it special because we know Christ arose, and he didn't. I mean, we don't have to be in the church house to know that. And so So tomorrow, my plan, unless it's pouring down raining, I'm going to go right outside and have my back to when the sun is going to rise, and I'm going to do a sunrise service, which would just be a message. I probably won't be singing, but I will be, the Lord has laid a message on my heart, and so I'm going to probably start about 6:15 to give that message, because the sun is supposed to rise at 6:23 in the morning. So that's my plan, is to get out there and start the message, and as the sun comes up, oh, special moment. And then Brother Steve is going to be preaching at 11, and he's going to do that at the church. And so that'll be special as well. So I hope that you will tune in if you don't have your own service to listen to. But and be sure and share these videos if you know people that if I could help them in their cooking. Or maybe they need something from God that God laid on my heart that you felt like maybe they might need. So today, I'm just going to read something that was in my devotion today. And it says, to find joy in this day, you must live within its boundaries. To find joy in this day, today, we must live within our boundaries. Or its boundaries. I knew what I was doing when I divided time into 24 segments, 24-hour segments. God knew what he was doing when he did that. I understand human frailty, and I know that you can bear the weight of only one day at a time. You know, that's all we can worry about and bear is what's going to happen today. Do not worry about tomorrow. He tells us that. Do not worry about tomorrow. Or get stuck in the past. Oh my goodness. How many times do we get stuck in the past? How many times does the devil throw up something in our past and makes us feel guilty because we made this choice or that choice? We don't need to get stuck there. When that happens, realize that that is not God. Because he's telling us, don't get stuck in the past and don't worry about tomorrow. We are given today, and we make the most of what today can be. There is abundant life in my presence today. So we're going to, think about that. There is abundant life in his presence right here today. It says, my word is seasoned with multiple commands to be thankful for good reason. I ransomed you from eternal punishment through my torturous death on the cross. And I continue to shower additional blessings upon you. As you learn to give thanks, we talked about this many times, in all circumstances, my loving presence will increasingly brighten your vision of life. Moses also said in Exodus 16:8, who are we? You are not grumbling against us, but against the Lord. 1 Thessalonians 5:18 says, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. He doesn't want us grumbling and complaining. We could easily say and be depressed about, oh, woe is me. I'm stuck in this house. I can't get out. I can't do anything. But then I think about the nurses and the doctors that are risking their life, that are out there today. Our military, every day, risk their lives for our freedom. And we're complaining because we're having to stay in the house and we're bored. We need to think about and be thankful for today. Be thankful we have today. Be thankful we have each other. Even if we have to communicate on Facebook, that's okay. That's good. We're connecting with one another. And so I think it's important that we thank God, like he says, in all circumstances. So as we thank Him for the things that are happening right now, because great things are gonna come from that. Great things are. I feel like, and so does Brother Steve, feel like it's going to be a great revival that is on the peak of this. And so I can't wait. Can't wait till we all get back together and celebrate. But my goodness, we can celebrate in our home. We can celebrate right where we are. Before I got on this segment today, I began talking to the Lord and praying. And I mean, He and I just had a moment. Every time that I spend time with the Lord, I want to have a moment with Him because I love Him so much. And I just love being with Him and love sharing with Him. And so I hope you have a great day. I hope that God fills your heart in a new way. You know, new life we celebrate new life tomorrow. And I can't wait. Can't wait to see all the different messages that are going to be posted everywhere. Think about all the people that we're reaching, guys, even though we're not in our church house, but oh my goodness, are we not reaching the people that don't never come to church? So I'm thankful for that. God bless you, and I just pray many blessings on you. And let's take a moment and pray. Dear God, I'm so thankful that we have this opportunity to be together. I'm so thankful, God, that we can still connect with one another, even if it is on our phone. Doesn't matter. You use every avenue, and so we can reach each other and reach lives. I'm thankful for that, God. I pray a special blessing on everyone that's listening. If there's someone that needs healing for their body, I pray healing upon them. If there's someone that's alone and feels just like nobody cares, God, you care more than anybody, and I pray you wrap your loving arms around them and just love on them. If people are afraid, you tell us to fear not in the Bible 365 times a year. So that's one for every day. So fear not. We don't need fear in our life. We just need your sweetness, your love, and your presence. I pray that you hover over every one of us, that tomorrow morning, that when we celebrate that you have risen, that you are alive, I pray, God, that we feel your presence in such a way that we have never felt it before. And I thank you for that. I thank you for today. I thank you for your love. And I thank you that you're always there looking out for us. In Christ's name I pray. Amen. Well, guys, go have a great rest of the day. Do something special for God. Love you guys.